Excellencies, heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen, it really is a great pleasure to be in Dakar, Senegal, to speak on an issue that is critical for the achievement of both Agenda 2063 and Agenda 2030. I'm extremely grateful to our hosts, the President of the Republic of Senegal and the new Managing Director of the IMF, for bringing us together to discuss progress on this area, but also the opportunities. I applaud their leadership and would also like to take this opportunity to welcome my sister of another mother, Kristalina Georgieva, as the head of the IMF on her first outing, which is here, to Africa, and in particular on her focus on climate action and on gender-related issues. As we all know, sustainable development and sustainable debt are interconnected. This recognition has allowed policymakers to address the issue much more effectively, especially in the context of economic policies on the continent of Africa. Excellencies, Africa, as we've heard, is a land of opportunity with great potential to benefit from its large and youthful population, growing markets and abundant resources to achieve the 2030 agenda and that of 2063. Many African countries are among the world's fastest growing economies. But the challenges of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals are daunting. Investment needs in key infrastructure and social services are huge. Reducing inequalities and addressing climate change are critical, as is harnessing the capacities of our young people, empowering our women, and investing in peaceful societies, building resilience. The 2030 Agenda envisages new and additional financial flows into countries to allow rapid expansion of our gross domestic product. The assumption is the larger the GDP, the larger the tax base will be. And in the long run, countries will be able to rely more on domestic resources for public investments. Yet, financial flows into developing countries, especially those in this continent, are far short of what is required to reach the targets of the SDGs. According to the estimates of the IMF, SDG investments in education, health, roads, power, water and sanitation alone required in low-income countries to spend on average an additional 15% of GDP by 2030. And in Africa, estimates of SDG financing needs range from $616 to $638 billion annually. Conventional ODA is not filling these gaps. In fact, official development assistance in developing countries has shrunk at an unprecedented rate in recent years. Even when countries do receive ODA, it continues to be earmarked and tied. As a result, little or no FDI, countries in the developing world are left with little or no choice to go for loan financing or other debt instruments to fund development projects, which they need for the SDGs. And this has led to a sharp accumulation of debt. Average public debt in Africa is close to 60% of GDP, up from 41% in 2013. A growing share of public expenditure is used to service debt, competing with scarce resources that would otherwise be invested in development. Developing countries today spend an average of 12% of their revenue on external debt payments, double what they did in 2010 in Africa, with a large and growing young population. In Africa, this population, the lack of investment in education and health, will have a serious and negative implications for long-term growth and SDG achievement. Changes in the composition of debt further exacerbate our challenges. Commercial financing and lending by non-traditional creditors, together with access to international financial markets, have provided welcome additional funding, but they are more costly and more exposed to global financial market volatility. In addition, external debt with variable interest is also growing rapidly. In least developed countries, floating rate debt represents a third of total external debt, greatly increasing exposure to economic risk. Excellencies, as the scale of these complex challenges are becoming clearer, the international community will need to strengthen its engagement. Lessons from the past, such as the challenges countries faced from the debt crisis in the 1990s, will prove invaluable if used to inform new strategies. We need to ensure that history does not repeat itself. We need strong political will from African countries and the commitment of international partners to address the structural issues that constrain sustainable development financing in Africa. And we need to encourage innovative debt instruments and mechanisms. Today's conference is responding to a newfound urgency in overcoming these challenges. Our economic solutions are running way behind the present challenges, such as the global social unrest, inequalities, conflict, and climate change. Our discussions on debt sustainability should not lose sight of investing in sustainable development. Here I would like to offer 4 points that I hope will contribute to the deliberations. First, the narrative of debt has to change. We have to recognize that debt is not inherently bad. What matters is how the money is spent and the country context. Several African countries have borrowed to invest in critical infrastructure like transport and energy, while others have spent on development-related current expenditures such as health and education, which has improved human development indices. Many African countries are at the early stages of their development, where their investment requirements are very high, especially to meet the needs of the SDGs. At this stage of development, debt will rise and debt ratios will deteriorate. Let me just say here that the context matters. The context is climate change. Africa, with just 2% of the emissions, is carrying the burden and the cost of climate change. And that needs to be considered when we look at the opportunities, but also at the mitigation and adaptation for it. We also need to see here where conflict exacerbates our development, much more political will in the international community for investing in peace and the transitions to sustainable development. What is important in Africa is to establish credible and sound macroeconomic policies, good governance, strong regulatory frameworks, and institutions to implement inclusive social impact investments while creating that fiscal space to service debt. The creditor here, second is governance, and strong institutions will be needed to ensure the capacity of governments to partner with the international financial institution and other new partners to implement the Addis Ababa Agreement. The creditor and debtor communities need to be held mutually accountable. This also implies transparency, because governments are also accountable to the people, as are international financial institutions to international standards. We need to see much more transparency. Internet transparency. We should call for transparent laws that are easily accessible to all citizens and government. Third, we need to examine the potentials of instruments such as debt swaps and debt restructuring, where the potential for aligning or linking with the SDGs will have multiplier effects in the society. Currently, there are proposals for small developing countries, for small island developing states, for climate-related debt swaps. Fourth, the impact of debt financing on future growth and revenue mobilization also underlines the integrated nature of financing and sustainable development. We are encouraging countries to adopt integrated national financing frameworks, which can help to align finance policies and approaches from tax investments, aid and debt with national priorities. Excellencies, we will need to move forward urgently and support countries to better manage debt and to leverage FDI, without which the implications will include missed opportunities for our young people, climate action, women empowerment, conflict resolution, our humanitarian crisis, and the nexus between development, peace, and security. I trust that today's conference will generate further momentum for the legitimate concerns about this crisis to tackling it head-on in the spirit of solidarity with the people of Africa. I thank you.